Typhoon Yagi, known locally in the Philippines as Super Typhoon Awful, was a significant tropical cyclone that impacted the western Pacific region in November 2024. It was the fifth of 6 consecutive tropical cyclones to affect the Philippines within a span of 4 weeks, following Tropical Storm Trami and Typhoons KONG-REY, Yingxing, and Toraji, and preceding the stronger Typhoon Manyi. Formation and development. Yagi formed as a tropical storm on November the 11th, 2024, in the southeastern Philippine Sea. On November the 13th, it underwent rapid intensification, escalating from a Category 1 storm to a Category 4 storm in just 6 hours. Impact on the Philippines. On November the 14th, Yagi made landfall in Bagao, Cagayan, on Luzon Island at around 1:30 p.m. PHT, 5:30 UTC. After crossing northern Luzon, it emerged into the Babuyan Channel, moving northwestwards and passing close to the Babuyan Islands in northern Cagayan. The typhoon caused significant damage, including flooding in rural villages, power outages, and displacement of thousands of people. It was the 5th major storm to hit the region in less than a month. Aftermath and relief efforts. In the aftermath of Typhoon Yagi, the Philippines faced challenges in delivering aid due to damaged infrastructure, including the collapse of a key bridge in Cagayan province. The United Nations launched an appeal to raise $32.9 million to support approximately 210,000 people in urgent need of aid over the next 3 months. Current status. As of December the 22nd, 2024, the Philippines continues to recover from the impacts of Typhoon Yagi and subsequent storms. Efforts are ongoing to restore infrastructure, provide shelter to displaced individuals, and rebuild communities affected by these successive natural disasters.
Gusto tayo magtayo sa ating kabayan.
Super Typhoon Manyi, known locally in the Philippines as Super Typhoon Pepito, was a significant tropical cyclone that impacted the western Pacific region in November 2024. It was the 24th named storm, and the 6th super typhoon of the 2024 Pacific typhoon season. Formation and development. Man-Yi originated from an area of convection east of Kwajalein Atoll on November 8, 2024. As it moved northwestward, it intensified, becoming a tropical storm on November 13th, and a typhoon by November 15th. The typhoon reached its peak intensity on November 16th, with 10-minute sustained winds of 195 km/h, 105 knots, and a central pressure of 920 pa, equivalent to a Category 5 super typhoon on the Saffir-Simpson scale. Impact on the Philippines. Man-Yi made its first landfall in Panganiban, Catanduanes, on November 16, 2024, bringing torrential rains, strong winds, and significant storm surges. It was the 6th major storm to hit the Philippines in less than a month, exacerbating the challenges faced by the nation. The typhoon caused widespread flooding and landslides, leading to at least 8 fatalities, including a family of 7 in Nueva Vizcaya due to a landslide. Additionally, over 1 million people were affected, with nearly 700,000 displaced. More than 8,000 homes were damaged or destroyed, and over 100 areas experienced power outages. Aftermath and relief efforts. In the wake of the typhoon, the Philippine government, along with international aid organizations, initiated relief operations to assist the affected populations. The United States extended $1 million in humanitarian aid to support recovery efforts. Local authorities emphasized the importance of rescue and relief operations, particularly in severely impacted areas like Camarines Sur and Catanduanes. Current status. As of December 22, 2024, the Philippines continues to recover from the impacts of Super Typhoon Man-Yi and the preceding storms. Efforts are ongoing to restore infrastructure, provide shelter to displaced individuals, and rebuild communities affected by these successive natural disasters.
Hey, 龙卷风，龙卷风，那龙卷风哇，好恐怖哦！我好笑，不要过来，拜托，拜托，龙卷风不要过来，那龙卷风哇，龙。
Typhoon KONG-REY, 2024, locally known in the Philippines as Typhoon Leon, was a powerful tropical cyclone that significantly impacted Taiwan and the surrounding regions in late October 2024. It was part of the intense 2024 Pacific typhoon season. Formation and path. Formation. Typhoon KONG-REY developed from a tropical disturbance over the western Pacific Ocean in late October 2024. Peak intensity. It intensified to a super typhoon with maximum sustained winds of 185 km/h, 100 knots, and a central pressure of 925 pa, equivalent to a Category 4 hurricane. Path. The typhoon tracked towards Taiwan, bringing widespread destruction before weakening and brushing the eastern coast of China. Impact by region. Taiwan. Landfall. KONG-REY made landfall in Taitung County on October 31, 2024, with powerful winds and torrential rains. Damage. Uprooted thousands of trees and destroyed homes, caused landslides and disrupted transportation networks, including railways. In Taipei, government offices and schools were closed as the city faced significant flooding. Casualties. At least 2 fatalities and hundreds of injuries were reported. Philippines. Although KONG-REY did not directly strike the Philippines, its outer bands brought heavy rainfall and strong winds to northern Luzon. The region was already vulnerable from previous typhoons. China. After crossing Taiwan, KONG-REY weakened and passed close to the Zhejiang and Fujian provinces. Precautionary evacuations were carried out for over 280,000 residents in affected areas. Despite heavy rainfall, the storm did not cause major landfall in mainland China. Aftermath and recovery. Taiwan. Post-typhoon recovery included clearing blocked roads, restoring power, and addressing damaged infrastructure. Preparedness. Authorities emphasized strengthening weather resilience after successive storms. Key facts. Dates active. Late October to early November 2024. Category. Super Typhoon. equivalent to Category 4 on the Saffir-Simpson scale. Notable features: KONG-REY was part of a series of destructive typhoons that year, highlighting the vulnerability of the region to climate-related disasters. Typhoon Krathon, known in the Philippines as Typhoon Julian, was a significant tropical cyclone that impacted parts of East Asia in late September and early October 2024. It was a notable system in the 2024 Pacific typhoon season, causing substantial damage and disruptions, particularly in Taiwan and the Philippines. Formation and development: Krathon originated as a tropical depression on September 26, 2024, approximately 135 nautical miles south-southwest of Kadena Air Base, Japan. The Japan Meteorological Agency, JMA, monitored its development, and by September 28, it had intensified into a tropical storm, receiving the name Krathon. The storm continued to strengthen, reaching typhoon status on September 29 and achieving its peak intensity on October 1, with 10-minute sustained winds of 195 km/h, 105 knots, and a minimum central pressure of 915 pa, classifying it as a violent typhoon. Impact on the Philippines: in the Philippines, Typhoon Julian brought heavy rainfall, leading to landslides and flooding in various regions. The National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council, NDRRMC, reported 5 fatalities and 1 missing person due to the typhoon's effects. Additionally, 8 individuals sustained injuries. Impact on Taiwan: on October 3, 2024, Krathon made landfall near the Siaogang district in Kaohsiung, Taiwan, as a Category 1 typhoon. The storm brought torrential rains and fierce winds, causing widespread flooding, uprooted trees, and infrastructure damage. The Central Weather Bureau recorded wind speeds up to 126 km/h, 78 miles per hour, in the affected areas. The typhoon resulted in 2 confirmed deaths and 714 injuries across the island. Significant disruptions included power outages affecting nearly 100,000 households, and water supply interruptions for approximately 129,000 households. Transportation was also impacted, with flight cancellations and suspended high-speed rail services. Aftermath and recovery: following the typhoon's passage, recovery efforts were initiated to restore normalcy. In Kaohsiung and Pingtung County, authorities focused on draining floodwaters and clearing debris from roads. Most schools and businesses reopened after the typhoon dissipated. However, certain areas remained closed to facilitate recovery operations. The government also investigated a hospital fire in Pingtung County that resulted in 9 fatalities during the typhoon's approach, though its connection to the storm remained unclear. Humanitarian assistance: in the Philippines, U.S. Marines, in coordination with the U.S. Agency for International Development, UZ, conducted 6 days of foreign disaster relief efforts in early October 2024. These operations supported the Philippine government's response to Typhoon Julian, providing essential aid to affected communities.
計玩啦！你冇嘅，嗰計玩我都係咩料？人料，小字料，鬥㗎！我計玩地多啦，咁我們拿家佢好老配啦。
可以啦。咪格嘅啦，咪格嘅啦，就叫我 Kitty 嘅哋，Kitty 嘅哋。
我操！哎！
Typhoon Yagi, known in the Philippines as Typhoon Krathon, was a devastating tropical cyclone that struck multiple Southeast Asian countries in early September 2024. It was the most powerful storm to hit Asia that year, causing widespread destruction and significant loss of life. Formation and path: Yagi developed as a tropical storm on September 1, 2024, in the western Philippine Sea. It traversed the northern Philippines, delivering heavy rainfall before intensifying into a strong typhoon over the South China Sea. The storm reached its peak intensity with sustained winds of 240 km/h, 150 miles per hour, classifying it as a top-end category for typhoon. Impact by region: Philippines. As Typhoon Krathon, Yagi brought substantial rainfall to northern regions, causing flooding and landslides. The city of Luzon experienced approximately 25 centimeters, 10 inches, of rain, leading to significant disruptions. Vietnam. Yagi was the strongest storm to hit Vietnam in 70 years, resulting in severe flooding and landslides. The typhoon affected 3.6 million people across 26 provinces, with 321 deaths, 24 missing, and 1,978 injured reported as of October the 23rd. The estimated economic damage was $3.31 billion, impacting industrial hubs and agricultural regions. Myanmar. The country faced catastrophic flooding and landslides due to Yagi, with over 380 fatalities and 89 individuals missing. Approximately 150,000 people were affected, exacerbating challenges in a nation already dealing with civil conflict. China. Southern China experienced the effects of Yagi, with significant rainfall and strong winds leading to infrastructure damage and displacement of residents. Aftermath and recovery. The aftermath of Typhoon Yagi saw extensive humanitarian efforts across the affected regions. In Vietnam, authorities mobilized resources for relief and reconstruction, focusing on restoring industrial production and agricultural activities. Myanmar's military and aid organizations engaged in cleanup operations and provided essential services to impacted communities. The widespread devastation underscored the need for enhanced disaster preparedness and resilient infrastructure in Southeast Asia. Key statistics: peak intensity, sustained winds of 240 km/h, 150 miles per hour. Fatalities, over 700 across multiple countries. Economic impact: estimated damages of $3.31 billion in Vietnam alone. Typhoon Yagi's unprecedented strength and the extensive damage it caused have prompted discussions on climate change's role in intensifying tropical cyclones in the region. The disaster has led to increased efforts toward building resilience against future storms. Typhoon Toraji, locally known in the Philippines as Typhoon Nika, was a significant tropical cyclone that impacted the northern regions of the Philippines in November 2024. It was the fourth typhoon to affect the country within a month, exacerbating the challenges faced by communities still recovering from previous storms. Formation and path. Toraji developed as a tropical storm on November 9, 2024, in the western Pacific Ocean. It intensified into a typhoon as it approached the Philippines, making landfall over Deadliest, Luzon. The typhoon brought maximum sustained winds of 150 km/h, 93 miles per hour, and heavy rainfall, leading to widespread flooding and landslides. Impact on the Philippines. The northern regions of Luzon bore the brunt of Toraji's impact. The typhoon caused significant flooding, power outages, and the downing of trees. Thousands of residents were displaced, adding to the strain on evacuation centers, already accommodating individuals affected by previous storms. Authorities conducted forced evacuations in high-risk areas to prevent casualties. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. canceled his participation in an international forum to oversee relief operations, emphasizing the government's commitment to providing aid to affected communities. International assistance, including support from the United States and neighboring Southeast Asian nations, was mobilized to aid in recovery efforts. Aftermath and recovery. In the wake of Toraji, efforts were focused on clearing roads, restoring power, and providing relief supplies to displaced individuals. The cumulative effect of successive typhoons highlighted the need for enhanced disaster preparedness and resilient infrastructure in the Philippines, a country prone to approximately 20 typhoons annually. Key statistics. Dates active. November the 9th to the 14th, 2024. Maximum sustained winds, 150 km/h, 93 miles per hour. Affected areas, northern Luzon, Philippines. Displacement, thousands of residents evacuated. The recurrence of powerful storms like Toraji underscores the importance of continuous improvement in disaster response strategies and infrastructure resilience to mitigate the impact of future typhoons on vulnerable communities. Typhoon Mars, internationally known as Typhoon Yagi, was a significant tropical cyclone that impacted the northern Philippines in early November 2024. It was the 13th typhoon to affect the country that year, exacerbating challenges in regions still recovering from previous storms. Formation and path. Mars developed from a low-pressure area outside the Philippine Area of Responsibility, PAR, on November 3, 2024. Upon entering the PAR on November 4, it intensified from a tropical depression to a tropical storm, and was named Mars by the Philippine Atmospheric, Geophysical and Astronomical Services Administration, PAGASA. The typhoon continued to strengthen, reaching its peak intensity with maximum sustained winds of 175 km/h, 110 miles per hour, as it approached the northern regions of the Philippines. Impact on the Philippines. Mars made landfall in Santa Ana, Cagayan Province, bringing sustained winds up to 175 km/h, 109 miles per hour, and gusts reaching 240 km/h, 149 miles per hour. The typhoon caused significant flooding, landslides, and infrastructure damage, particularly in the provinces of Cagayan and Batangas. Approximately 40,000 residents were evacuated to emergency shelters as a precautionary measure. Notably, two domestic airport terminals in Batangas sustained damage due to the strong winds. The National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council, NDRRMC, reported that Mars's impact compounded the difficulties faced by communities still recovering from earlier storms, such as Tropical Storm Trami and Typhoon KONG-REY, which had collectively resulted in at least 151 fatalities and affected nearly 9 million people. In response to the successive disasters, President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. canceled his attendance at the APEC summit in Peru to oversee recovery efforts domestically. Aftermath and recovery. Following Mars's exit from the PAR on November 8, 2024, recovery operations commenced, focusing on clearing debris, restoring power and communication lines, and providing relief supplies to affected populations. The government, along with various humanitarian organizations, coordinated efforts to support displaced individuals and rebuild damaged infrastructure. The series of typhoons underscored the need for enhanced disaster preparedness and resilient infrastructure in the Philippines, a nation frequently impacted by tropical cyclones. Key statistics, dates active, November the 3rd to the 12th, 2024. Maximum sustained winds, 175 kilometers, h. 110 miles per hour. Affected areas, northern Luzon, particularly Cagayan and Batan's provinces. Evacuations, approximately 40,000 residents. The recurrence of powerful storms like Mars highlights the importance of continuous improvement in disaster response strategies and infrastructure resilience to mitigate the impact of future typhoons on vulnerable communities.